I want to thank you for tuning in the video today. Today we're going to talk about 37 1350s on stock wheels, right? I like to run that setup. I run them on all my trucks. On the Fords, the 1-inch spacers work really good, okay? The 1-inch spacers on the GM, because the fenders just don't give you quite as much clearance, I was going to have to push up over 2.5 inches. I've done some trimming. It's still too much, okay? Have to run the spacer because of the upper control arms on the GMs for sure. And so I'm running the 1/2-inch spacer. And if you look right here, I only have about 5.5 threads with the 1/2-inch spacer slip-on, which I really don't like. You know, there's a reason you have to run them. I'm running the Cognito Upper Control Arms, and as you can see right here, that 1/2-inch spacer still just barely clears it, okay? Now I did try the 1-inch. I've done some trimming. The 1-inch gets you up into the fenders a little too hard, so that's why I've got the custom 0.75s. No matter what, on both trucks though, if you're going to do the slip-ons, I really can't say, you know, the 1/2-inch just doesn't work for me, just because on the Ford or the GM, because you just don't get enough threads, okay? 3/8 slip-ons, and these are Hub Centric slip-ons, okay? And before we get into the deal with the spacers, I run them on all my trucks. I tow with them and everything. They just require maintenance, guys. So basically, after about 300 to 500 miles, retorque them, and then I retorque them about every 3,000 to 5,000 when I rotate my tires. I've never had any problems. But run quality ones. Don't buy cheap ones. Buy Hub Centric, okay? I can really only recommend Bora because you can see the Hub Centrics, your weight actually sits on this lip right here. It doesn't sit on the studs, and so these are tapered on the back side, and you can see how they sit on the factory hub, and then they carry that centering so that you don't get any vibrations, you don't get any problems. It's just like a stock mount. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this tire off real quick, and I'll show you what these look like. Okay, I'm gonna show you the difference between the 3 spacers today, okay? So, and don't worry about this, guys. I mean, I've cut studs on this one. I've already put stock studs back in it. You can see this is what your stock studs look like. It's pretty easy. You pull the brake rotor off. They drive out from the back, and then you will need, I do recommend this tool just because these GMs have such a long spline. It's pretty hard to pull them so you don't pull the threads on your lug nut. This has a little bearing in it. You just put that on there and use your stock lug nut, and it pulls it through. So pretty simple. You can get these at O'Reilly, AutoZone, anywhere. They're called a stud installer. All right, but let's get back to the spacers and talk about this, okay? So this is Bora's 1/2-inch Hub Centric. You can see it sits nice and tight on that hub, and it's centered, okay? And then it carries that hub out so that your stock wheel will stay centered, and it puts the weight on the lip instead of it being on the studs. It's Hub Centric versus Lug Centric, okay? Difference between that is this is a 1/2-inch. You can see it right there, Bora. This is a 1/2-inch cheap one, okay? So guys, you'll put that on there. That's the difference, okay? Where you have a little shaking, a little vibration. I've tried these when I first had to put some on here because of the upper control arm when I put these tires on, just to put something on there temporarily, and did not like these at all. So up to you on what you want to run there, okay? You can see there's not a lot of difference between the 0.5 and the 0.75. Of course, we're going to have another set of studs behind this one, okay? It's Hub Centric, the same. But the way this works, you see you got a nice tight fit on the hub right there. That's a 0.75. You do have to cut your studs, so I've got to mark these and get those cut, and then we'll get this thing torqued down, and we'll have 0.75s installed. Okay, so that's your finished product installed. Just make sure you have a full nut on all of your lugs, which we do now, which I feel better about. And then also make sure nothing goes past this. Make sure they're under that, they don't stick out past. But anyway, let's get this tire put on. Let's see how that looks. All right, y'all, that 3/4 set just right. That's the profile from the front. We're still pretty much tucked into the fender. I mean, it's a little bit out, not much. Now I don't have to worry about rubbing. And I have plenty of room between my upper control arm and my tire right there. 37 1350 stock wheels, 0.75 spacers for us. If the video helped you any, please hit that like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.